My name is Tyler Cantrell. I'm in Precision Ag for Region 4.
I'm Will Foster. I'm also Precision Ag for Region 4 as well.
So we wanted to hit really the main updates for the new John Deere 1 Series Balers, as well as hit some of the key technology pieces on the 5 and 6 Series hay tractors as well. So we'll jump right in here. This kind of outlines the biggest new features we're talking about. We're getting some integrated options now that we haven't had before. New Baler technology, Baler automation piece. So we'll kind of jump in here. The biggest thing is probably the new G5E Display. So our new G5E Display. So this is a digital touchscreen display. It is replacing our old Beltrack Pro monitors. So if you've ever ran a Beltrack Pro monitor, you know just how complicated it is to run at times to change certain features. So this new digital touchscreen display, they have really simplified how easy it is to change and monitor certain Baler functions. So this is an ISO monitor. So what that means is we have the ability to plug this directly into the corner post of our tractor. So you see here in this picture, we've got our G5E monitor simply tied in to the corner post of our ISO tractor. And so very seamless install. You eliminate the need for that in-cab wiring harness that comes through the back glass that we've got to tie into power and tie into our monitor. So very simple, easy way to set this up. We talk about this being an ISO monitor. That does not mean it's an AMS display or an AMS monitor. So what that means is we don't have the ability to run our auto track or our documentation capabilities, no section control, anything like that. This monitor is simply for the Baler and the Baler only. So keep that in mind. We also talk about this being an ISO monitor. That does not mean we're limited to running it on ISO-bus compatible tractors. So these Balers from the factory come with the G5E display, and they come with an ISO harness. So that ISO harness ties into our Baler, and then it ties into our G5E display, and then we run that harness to battery power on the tractor, and we're able to run this Baler and this monitor on any tractor out there. So also, if you've got a guy running, he's already running auto track, he's already running documentation on a universal display. If that display is Gen 4 or newer, so Gen 4, Gen 5 universal display, Gen 4, Gen 5 command center, this Baler will run through those monitors, through those displays. So we simply plug our Baler into the back of our tractor, into the ISO plug, and then we can run that Baler through any display we've got, if it's Gen 4 or newer. This tractor to your left over here, this 6R, it does have a Gen 4 command center in it, and so we've got our Baler tied into the ISO plug on the back of our tractor, and we have the ability to run that Baler through that command center on this tractor. This 5M over to your left, it is also an ISO-bus ready tractor. So if we tie our Baler into the ISO plug on the back of this tractor, we simply put our G5E display or our universal display plugged into the corner post of this tractor, and we can run that Baler through those displays without the need for that in-cab wiring harness. So keep that in mind. Very easy to change your run pages, very customizable. You get a lot of real-time performance monitoring with this display. So wanted to touch also on the factory integrated options we can now get. So most important thing to know when you're baling hay is your moisture, right? So before the 1 Series Balers came out, if you had a John Deere round Baler and you wanted to know your moisture running through the field, we had to go aftermarket. So we had to get an aftermarket moisture sensor and install that on our Baler. Well, John Deere is now providing that option from the factory. It's an integrated moisture sensor into these Balers. So you'll see here on the screen, this top number is going to give us our instantaneous moisture as we're running through the field. So when we're running through the field baling hay, that number is updating all the time, telling us what the moisture of our hay is. This bottom number is going to be the average moisture of that last bale that we just kicked out. So we're going to get average moisture across that bale. We have field tested this, and it is amazingly accurate. So we ran some trials with the U of A Research Center there in Batesville. We baled some hay with one of these 1 Series Balers. We moisture probed them. We ran some other moisture tests to get our moisture across that bale. and what we saw on the display was identical to those moisture tests. So very, very accurate moisture sensor. The customers that we've got that are running these balers absolutely love that feature now on these balers, especially now that we don't have to go aftermarket to get that option. And it will all come through your display. So the other really cool thing we've got is the bale scale. So it does exactly what you would think it's going to do. That's going to weigh our hay bale after we get done baling and after we wrap it. We do have some options whether we want to weigh every single bale. We can weigh every 15th bale, or you can set that up to weigh manually at the press of a button in your display here. So there's one caveat to that about our yield mapping and our documentation. So we'll talk a little bit more about this later, but for our yield mapping, you do have to weigh every single bale. So that does add a few seconds to our gate cycle time, but if you've got a guy with a particular field that needs to really target some areas where he may not be as productive, then he'll set that up to weigh every bale, and we can get an accurate yield map now across those fields. So if you're old like me, if you've ever fallen out of a tree and broken your pelvis and had it pieced back together, the net lift assist is absolutely amazing. So this really saves your back and really just reduces strain and fatigue when you've got to load net wrap. This is simply a winch mounted to our net wrap door, and we can lift that net wrap into place with this winch. So one important thing, you might not be able to see it, but this steel bar holding our net wrap door up into place. If you don't want a headache, make sure and put that bar in place before you try to lift that net wrap, or you'll pull that net wrap door down on your head and have a bad day. So Will's going to demonstrate this for us when we do our walk around, but a very cool, very neat feature on these balers. So we can also retrofit that back to our 7 Series balers. So keep that in mind. If you want this net lift assist, that is available as a field kit as well. So our baler automation, I wanted to touch on this. So baler automation's been around for a few years now, but we were really limited in what we could run that baler automation on. So before John Deere came out with the 1 Series balers, we had to have a command center equipped tractor with electronic SCVs. And so this tractor to your left over here, this 6R, it's got a command center, it's got electronic SCVs. And so with that, we've got the ability to automate the gate on our baler. And so as we're running through the field, that baler gets full, we bring the tractor to a stop. It's automatically going to wrap that bale, it's automatically going to eject the bale, it's automatically going to close our baler, and then we just take back off in the field baling. So really neat feature. Added on to that, if that tractor has an IVT transmission, it will actually stop the tractor for us. So when our baler gets full, it's going to bring the tractor to a stop, then it's going to wrap, eject the bale, close the baler, and we tap our orange pedal on the floor, and that tractor resumes to the speed that we were baling at before. So again, that does have to have a command center with electronic SCVs to do that. With the 1 Series balers, John Deere has introduced the AutoGate valve. And so this is actually installed on the baler itself. So it installs in the tongue of the baler. We tie our hydraulic hoses into our AutoGate valve, and then we've got hoses running from that AutoGate valve to our SCV block on our tractor. With that gives us the ability to run our gate automation with mechanical SCVs when we put those in continuous flow. So if you've got a tractor with mechanical SCVs, and if you can put those in continuous flow, then we can do this gate automation. So as I'm running through the field, the baler gets full, so I bring the tractor to a stop. We don't get with the AutoGate valve, we don't get that technology where it brings the tractor to a stop for us. But I bring that tractor to a stop. It's going to wrap, it's going to kick the bale out for us, it's going to close the baler, and then I just resume baling. So again, this AutoGate valve is a very neat feature. We've got these out in the field, and customers absolutely love it. So it works really, really well. There is a slight limitation on hydraulic flow capabilities. So for open center hydraulics, we've got to make sure we've got enough SCV flow at the SCV block on the tractor. So keep that in mind. Most tractors are going to be able to run this AutoGate valve just fine. And we can actually do this on any tractor as well. We can run this on competitive makes. So this AutoGate valve really is a really neat feature. And so you see on the screen here, we've got the two different methods. This first method here is the baler controlling. So if I've got the AutoGate valve on the baler, then this baler controlling method is what I'll use, and the baler will actually do the work for us. If I've got a command center equipped tractor with electronic SCVs, then I can choose the tractor controlling method here. And then our tractor is what's going to be in charge, and our tractor is going to be controlling the baler for us. So again, we field tested this. These are out in the field. Customers are using the AutoGate valve. They absolutely love it. Just really saves time, takes operator error out of that gate cycle. So really neat feature. And then wanted to also touch on our Bale documentation. So this is something that John Deere is bringing to the 1 Series round balers, where we can seamlessly integrate with our John Deere Operations Center. So we mentioned that the G5E display that comes with these balers will only run the baler, so we don't get documentation capabilities on that display. To run the Bale documentation, we've got to have a Gen 4, Gen 5 universal display or a Gen 4 or Gen 5 command center. With those, we have the ability to run this Bale documentation where we can get our yield mapping. Again, the caveat to that yield mapping is you've got to weigh every single bale as you're going through the field, because that's going to be based on tonnage. But we've also got the ability to get our moisture maps across those fields. So if you've got an area in your field that you may be having issues with dry down, we can really pinpoint that with our moisture maps across those fields. And then of course we can get our bale count per field, we can get our bale weights, our bale moistures. So very neat technology that John Deere is bringing to the 1 Series round balers to help us integrate with our John Deere Operations Center. And what I want to mention is this is actually not new technology. It's just new technology to the 1 Series round balers. So John Deere has been using this for years in our large square balers. Works really well, so it's proven technology and you know it's going to work. So wanted to hit also on our 5 Series tractors and our 6 Series tractors. So for our 5 Series, we've got the ability to order these tractors AutoTrack ready. So this tractor to your right over here, this 5M, is an AutoTrack ready tractor, and we can run that AutoTrack from our dash display as you see on the screen here. That does give us the ability to run our straight line guidance only, so we're not going to get any complex adaptive curves or curve tracks with this, but you will get simple straight line guidance. We don't have the ability to document or paint coverage maps. It does have a built-in acreage counter if you need to know the acreage that you're covering. But this is simple straight line guidance only, but it works really, really well. And we've got customers running this that absolutely love it. So when you order one of these tractors or when you buy one of these tractors that's AutoTrack ready, the only other additional purchase you have to make is a Starfire receiver. So keep that in mind. We do recommend a Starfire 6000 or newer. So Starfire 6000, Starfire 7000s work great. Our Starfire 3000s will work. It will flash an error message on that dash display saying that it won't work. But what that's the biggest issue is we just don't get our TCM corrections. So our TCM that compensates for pitch and roll in that machine as we're running over complex terrain. We don't get that with the Starfire 3000, but we do have several customers running these 5Ms with Starfire 3000 receivers, and they do work. You're just not going to get those TCM corrections, and it's going to flash a message on the screen. So we do recommend 6000 or newer receiver if possible. And these are ISOBus compatible tractors. We talked a little bit about that earlier, so that means we can take this ISOBus baler, we can plug it into our ISO plug on the back of the tractor, and then we eliminate the need for that in-cab wiring harness when we just tie our G5E or other universal display into the corner post of that tractor. So, and then we can also run our AMS displays, so our universal displays. We can run AutoTrack, documentation, section control, plug and play in the cab of those tractors. So 6Ms are pretty much identical technology-wise to the 5M. So we've got the same straight line guidance option. Instead of in the dash, it's going to be over on the corner post, but it is that straight line guidance only. But we only need a Starfire receiver when we've got that available on that tractor. And again, these are ISOBus compatible, so we can our universal displays are plug and play. Our ISO implements are all plug and play. Very clean, seamless install. The only caveat to the 6Ms is for 2025. The little AutoTrack icon on your dash AutoTrack on the 5Ms, which is on the corner post in the 6Ms, that is going away. They still will be AutoTrack ready, but we've got to have a universal display plugged into the corner post of that tractor in order to run our AutoTrack starting in 2025. But as of right now, we can still get the 6Ms with the factory AutoTrack. That's the simple straight line guidance. So keep that in mind. And then finally, with our 6R tractors, these of course are going to come AutoTrack ready from the factory. We're also going to get our G5 Command Center. This tractor to your left over here is a 2023 model, so it actually has the Gen 4 Command Center. But our new ones will come with the integrated G5 Command Center. They will be AutoTrack ready. And then one of the coolest features we unlock with the 6Rs is we've got a loader technology package available now. So with that loader technology package, we unlock 3 things. And the first one of those being the dynamic weighing system. So that gives us the ability to weigh whatever we pick up with the front end loader. So if you pick up a hay bale, you're going to know exactly how much that weighs. A load of gravel, load of feed, a water tote, you can know exactly how much that weighs when you pick it up with the front end loader. So that's a really cool piece. One of the other pieces is the return to position feature. So similar to the headers on a combine that we can raise and lower to preset heights with the push of a button, we've got that option available on these 6Rs with the loader technology package. So at the push of a button, I can raise that loader or lower that loader to a height that I've already preset it at. So if you're doing repetitive tasks such as stacking hay, moving hay, loading hay on a trailer, whatever you may be doing that's repetitive, those buttons come in handy because we can, raise or lower that loader to a preset height that we've already punched in the display. So, and then the final thing with that is our level to horizon feature. So, of course, when I pick up that front end loader, that load's going to tilt back towards us, or as I move that loader to the ground, that loader is going to dump forwards. With that level to horizon feature, it will actually keep that load level at all times. And we'll also keep that load level as I'm rolling over terraces or going uphill, downhill over complex terrain. It's going to keep that loader level at all times. And of course, that feature can be turned off if you're doing loader work that doesn't require that. So keep that in mind. But very neat feature with that loader technology package on these 6Rs. So Will's going to hop in the cab and we're going to do an RDA session. But as far as this technology goes, new technology tends to scare people. The good news is this is not new technology. It's existing technology that John Deere has utilized in the row crop industry for years now, and they're simply bringing that to the hay market. So it's the same John Deere reliability that you're used to with this technology, with this equipment. So keep that in mind. So we're going to do an RDA session now with this tractor so we can highlight some of the key features of this display. And of course, I'm not connected to the internet, so.
Isn't Wi-Fi so fun?
I love it.
I hate hotspots. Yesterday, I had to download a video for Heather, and I ended up just connecting to my phone because it was faster than the hotspot that they were using.
Oh my goodness, dude! I love it when they work, and then when they don't, it's so frustrating. So, yeah. All right, so this is our run screen on this baler. So I'm going to call Will. That way he knows what we're doing when he's walking through the display with us. So again, this is a Gen 4 Command Center. So with our G5E, we're going to have this center run page here. And this is what it's going to look like. We're not going to have these pieces on the outside, but our G5E will have this main run page here with this baler set up. So the first thing we see is we can quickly and easily change our bale size. So again, if you've ever ran a BaleTrack Pro monitor, you're going to really appreciate how easy this monitor is to run. So he can quickly change his bale size at the push of a button. So he's going to set it to 5 feet. So this is a 461, so we can do up to 6-foot bales. So you can see we can quickly and easily change that to 5-foot bales if we want to do that. So keep that in mind. That's very easy to change. This max size feature, if you're coming up on the end of your windrow and you've got 10, 20, 30 foot left to bale and you don't want to wrap and just have a real small bale at the end of your windrow, then that max size will allow you to exceed that 60-inch limit that 5-foot limit, and then you simply wrap the bale manually when you're ready to finish that bale. So very cool feature. So we see our moisture readings over here on the far left. That top number is going to be our instantaneous moisture as we're going through the field. And that bottom number is going to be the average moisture of that last bale that we just kicked out of the baler. So we've got no numbers here right now because this baler has never been in the field running. It's a brand new baler. So that's why there's no numbers populated here. But again, that's going to give you your real-time moisture and your average moisture of that last bale you just kicked out. So if he clicks on that, we've actually got a moisture alarm that we can simply and easily change with a push of a button. So you see right now that moisture alarm's on 18%. He can go in there and change that to whatever number he wants. So if he changes that to 22%, as soon as your moisture of your hay hits 22%, it's going to show up red on your home screen. If he hits that X button, it'll show up red on your home screen, and it'll flash a warning message that, hey, you're getting into some pretty high moisture stuff. You might want to try a different part of the field, or you might want to give it another day to dry down. This net wrap remaining is a super cool feature. So if he clicks that, so we've loaded 12,100 foot rolls into this baler. So he'll put our roll length in here, and you can see that at two net wrap turns, we're wrapping that bale twice with net wrap. We can get 385 bales. And so he can change his net wrap turns from here, or he can change that from another screen if he wants. But if he changes that to 2.5, obviously we're going to get less bales out of that net wrap. So 308. If he hits X there, and that is based on the size of your bale. So that also factors in that we've got this set to 60-inch bales as well. So keep that in mind. But we see this net wrap remaining bar is now full, and that will slowly creep down to the red as you run out of net wrap. So very cool, very easy way to keep track of how much net wrap you've got remaining in the baler. So we'll hit our automation tab here. This is where we go to set up our automation. At first, it looks a little bit intimidating. But it's actually very simple, very easy to set up once you know what you're looking at. So we'll simply turn our gate automation on. We'll hit our wrench here, and you can see this is a command center equipped machine with electronic SCVs. So we're going to use the tractor controlling method to control the gate on that baler and automate that gate. If we had an AutoGate valve installed on this baler, we would simply come over here and select our baler controlling method. And you can see on our diagnostics, it's going to turn up red and say, hey, we don't have an AutoGate valve installed. So this baler does not have the AutoGate valve on it, and so that's why it's telling us gate automation valve is not installed. And so, again, very seamless, very easy and user-friendly to set this up. So he can hit close there. And again, you've got the tractor controlling method and the baler controlling method, depending on what machine you have. And what technology you have installed on your baler. So if he hits that X button at the top, now we'll go into just our basic baler settings. So we'll hit our menu button and go into our baler settings. So we've got shortcuts on your main run page for most of this stuff. But you see here, we've got our bale size that we can change, our net wrap remaining. We can reload our net from this screen as well. We can change the number of times we're wrapping that bale. You've got on-off for your push bar, your near full indication, or your near full notification. So that's the bar across the top of the screen that's going to slowly work its way in an alarm as you're filling that baler up. So if he scrolls down here, or he already scrolled down, so you can see this near full offset. So that 3 inches, when we hit 3 inches from filling that bale up, so when we hit, I think we've got it set at 60-inch bale. So when we hit 57 inches, it's going to start popping up that near full notification for us, so we can know to be prepared to stop the tractor. Again, if we're running thicker hay, we might bump that number up because it's going to take us less time to fill up that 3 inches. So if we're running real thick hay, we might bump that number up or down if you're running some pretty thin hay. But again, very customizable. This wrap delay is going to give you time to stop the tractor, so it's just going to be a delay before it starts wrapping that bale and getting ready to kick it out. So bale shape indicator. So these balers have 3 bale shape sensors now. You get 1 extra one in the middle. A lot of guys may be used to running 2, so they may want to come in here and turn that off. So that is an option if you don't want that 3rd bale shape sensor in the middle. And then of course we can change our sensitivity depending on how sensitive we want those bars and those indicators to be. So again, this display, very easy to use, very seamless, integrated display that allows us to monitor and change important functions all you know, from the push of a button. So again, this new technology tends to scare people, but this is proven technology that works, that we've been using in the row crop industry for years. We've been using it in the large John Deere square balers for years. So you know you're going to get that same John Deere reliability from this. So, all right, so now Will is going to hop out, and we're going to do a walk around the baler, and he's going to point out some key features for us.
Alrighty, so net lift assist is basically an ATV winch that's mounted up in the hood. Right here you can see we have this metal bar that's normally mounted here in the bottom. In order to keep that hood from falling down underneath the pressure of the net, you'll just come over here, put it in the notch, and hook it in. We have a cable with a switch. We'll lower our winch down, pick our net up, and it's just super simple. I mean, it's just as easy as pushing a button. I like to tell people, I mean, I've been baling hay all my life since I was about 10, and I could never get it up, especially up here in the storage position. We have a lot of hay farmers still baling hay up until they're probably 80, 85, that they have to have either help or they have to get another tractor with the spears to put it up there. And this way, you know, all you have to do is push a button and it does all the work for you. This net lift assist can actually be retrofitted all the way back to our 7 Series Balers, which is a pretty neat just add-on kit you can order from Deere. If you walk around here, right here is going to be our moisture sensor. Basically what it is it's just a round piece of metal with a couple sensors in it. What it does is it actually sends an electrical pulse, and that pulse, based on how well it travels through the hay, will read that moisture. So therefore, more moisture, the better it travels through, and vice versa. We also mentioned the Bale scale feature. This baler does not actually come equipped with it, but it would be normally mounted right in here. And what would happen is the gate would open about 1.5 feet to 2 feet, and these hay dogs, which are controlled by hydraulics, would pinch on each side of the bale. It would pinch that bale, the gate would open, so the bale would be suspended by the gate. It would then measure that weight and send the reading to your display. And talking about the yield coverage maps, so your windrow is generally going to be about 4 feet across, but in your display what you would do is you'd actually set it to where the display is covering 17. So if your rake is 17 feet across, you'd set it for 17 feet. Then you would weigh, and so it would know as you're going across the field, you have a 17-foot width, and then it measures your tonnage within that area, and then it will give you a yield map showing maybe this portion of the field, the hay was super thick, maybe over here you have super thin, you want to add fertilizer to different parts of the field. And if we look inside the door of the baler, we see up here at the top our little modem. I like to call it basically the computer of the baler. What it does is it's the one that's actually keeping track of all the information, and it's actually sending all the information to the display. So if you want to hook up this baler to this tractor that has a command center, it's going to send all the moisture readings, the bale scale readings into that tractor. But if you want to switch it over to maybe a tractor that you have the G5E display in, it's also going to transfer that information over to that, show your moisture readings of your last bale. All that information is stored right there. If you have your AutoGate valve installed, as we were talking, Tyler said it was installed right here inside your tongue. It's out of the way, super easy. You wouldn't even really know it's there. I mean, it's normal hydraulics that plug into the back of the tractor, which allows the baler and that computer to actually control it. And so when you pull that tractor to a stop and you've got a full hay bale, that computer will tell that valve to start working, and it will automate the gate by opening it, pushing it out, closing it. If you have the bale scale feature, it's going to automatically do that as well in that automation. So you can get a couple different features depending on which baler. We have the E, the R, or the M, and then the R. This is an M series right here. This is the silage special, but you can get a couple different ones. You can get a heavy duty version. If you get the heavy duty version, it comes with a lot of cool upgrades. You get heavy duty chains and sprockets. You get heavy duty bearings on, I believe it's the 9 and 11 roller. You also get a grease bank. So you see here you have grease fittings all over these different moving parts of the baler. With that heavy duty version, you get a metal plate. They're all run down to here, so it's just easy access. You don't have to crawl up there at the top to grease, and there would be one on the opposite side and that door as well. You also, with that heavy duty version, you get basically an extended warranty of up to 12,000 bales or 2 years on the baler, which is a great option if you're doing tons of hay bales. You also have an add-on option of basically a preservative tank. What it is, it's going to be a tank that mounts right here on the front. And what it does is it sprays your hay as it's being made through the baler, adding extra longevity to the bale. If your moisture content is a little bit higher than usual, it'll help with that as it's drying out. And that's a pretty cool feature. It's offered on the R series baler, and I believe the M as well.